I am 77 years old. I never smoked. I never drank. I exercised every morning at 6. I ate the right food. I put away 20% of my salary. I never took out loans. I was an exemplary employee, an exemplary husband, an exemplary father. I did everything right, absolutely everything, and you know what? I lost. I lost in a way that people who drank, smoked, and lived disorderly lives don't lose, because at least they lived, and I was preparing to live. For 40 years I was preparing. And when it was time to start, it turned out everyone had already left. Do you think discipline is a virtue? That if you follow all the rules, everything will work out? I thought so too. Society promised me this. My parents told me this. Books wrote this. Postpone pleasure. Be patient. First, earn stability. Build a foundation. And then you'll start living. That's the most terrible lie I swallowed, because later doesn't exist. It never did. My wife died 3 years ago. We were married for 51 years. Do you know how many times we traveled just for the sake of it? For no reason? Not once. Do you know how many times I told her, leave the dishes, let's go for a walk? Maybe 5 times in my whole life. I always said, let's save a little more. Let's wait for retirement. Let's finish the renovation first. She waited. She always waited. And I kept saving and planning our ideal future. I thought being a good husband meant providing, bringing in money, fixing faucets, paying bills on time, making sure the house had order and stability. I was proud of it. When neighbors complained about money troubles or problems, I felt like a winner. Everything was always fine with us. The fridge was full. The bills were paid. The car was working. No drama, no scandals, no chaos. Every morning I got up at 5:30, a jog, a shower, breakfast exactly at 6:45. To work by 7:30. I was never late. In 38 years at the insurance company, I took sick leave 4 times. 4 times, do you understand? Colleagues called me a machine. My bosses held me up as an example. I moved up the career ladder slowly but surely. I didn't chase quick money. I didn't take risks. I did my job well and waited to be noticed. And you know what? I was noticed. At 56, I became a regional manager. My salary doubled. We finally bought the house my wife had dreamed of for 20 years. 3 stories with a garden, in a good neighborhood. I remember that day. I came home with the contract, put it on the table, and said, "Here, now we'll have everything." She cried. She hugged me. She said I was the best. And I felt like this was my reward. That everything I had done, all those years of patience and discipline, had finally paid off. We moved. I kept working. Even harder, because now there was a bigger mortgage, more expensive bills, higher responsibility. My wife furnished the house, planted flowers in the garden, cooked dinners that I ate distractedly while reading work reports. She would say, "Maybe we should take a vacation. Go somewhere." And I'd reply, "Let's do it next year. I have an important project now." Or, "Let's finish the porch renovation first." Or, "Let's save a little more for a rainy day." It was always, "Let's do it later." There was always a next stage, a next goal, a next bar to clear before allowing ourselves to relax. I lived in standby mode, waiting for the moment when I could finally say, "Okay, now we can live." But that moment never came, because there was always something else, another problem to solve, another reserve to create, another year to wait out. And my wife waited. She waited for 20 years, then 30, then 40. She stopped suggesting trips, stopped dreaming out loud. She accepted our life for what it was: quiet, stable, proper, safe, and absolutely empty. She was 72 when the doctors found cancer. Pancreatic, stage 4, 6 months, maybe a year, they said. I remember driving home from the hospital. In silence, I drove the car, holding the steering wheel with both hands, looking at the road. And she looked out the window, and I didn't know what to say. All my plans, all my tables and graphs, they suddenly became meaningless, because the time I had been putting everything off for had suddenly run out. She lived for 8 months. She barely got out of bed for the last 2. I sat next to her, held her hand, and for the first time in 50 years, I had time. The time I had been waiting for. But it was too late. We couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't dance. Couldn't go for evening walks. We could only sit and be silent, because there was nothing to talk about. All our conversations had always been about mundane things, about bills, about renovations, about future plans. But we had no present. One day, a week before she died, I was tidying up her dresser, looking for some documents, and I found a box, an old shoe box tied with a ribbon. I opened it. Inside were tickets, dozens of tickets. Tickets to theaters she had bought, but we never used because I had work. Tickets to concerts she wanted to attend, but I said it was a waste of money. Hotel reservations she made and canceled because I postponed our vacation. Advertising brochures from travel agencies. Magazine clippings with photos of Paris, Venice, Prague, places she dreamed of visiting. 50 years of dreams in a shoebox. I brought the box to her bedside. Placed it next to her. She looked at me. And you know what she said? She didn't accuse me. She didn't scream. She just gave a weak smile and said, "It's nothing. I understood. You did everything right." And that was worse than any accusation, because she truly believed it. She believed I had done everything right. And she waited for the day when I would say, "Okay, now we are free." But that day never came, because I never allowed it for myself. She died 6 days later. I buried her. I returned to our ideal home, sat down on the sofa, and for the first time I realized I had built a prison. A beautiful, clean, expensive prison, where there was no noise, no mess, no life. Do you think you can make up for lost time? That you can earn more money, buy another house, find a new job? You can. All of that can be recovered. But do you know what can't be recovered? The Saturday morning your wife suggested going to the sea for the 29th time, and you said, "Next year." Or the evening she wore a new dress and waited for you to notice, but you were reading a quarterly report. The thousands of little moments when she reached out her hand and you were busy with something important. Those moments burned up forever. You can't buy them back for any money, because time is the only resource you cannot earn. You can only spend it, and I spent mine preparing for a life that never began. After her death, I continued to live by the schedule. Up at 5:30, jog, breakfast. But now there was no one to cook. The house was empty. It tried to fill the silence with the television, the radio, audiobooks, but the silence wasn't outside. It was inside me. I realized I don't know who I am without my schedule, without my rules, without my role as the responsible man. For 50 years I played a role. I was an actor in a play no one was watching. My children visit once every 3 months, maybe once every 4. They are polite. They ask about my health. They bring groceries. They sit for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then they leave. We talk like neighbors who accidentally met in an elevator. Nothing important, nothing about feelings, nothing about memories, because we hardly have any shared memories. When they were children, I worked. When they were teenagers, I focused on my career. When they became adults, I prepared for retirement. I was present at their graduations, at their weddings. But I wasn't really there. I was busy. Always busy with something more important than them. My daughter recently admitted in a conversation with her brother I overheard by accident. That she only remembers me sitting at the table with papers. That her main childhood memory of me is the phrase, "Quiet, Dad is working." She is 43 years old, and that is all she has. I lost the right to know her secrets, the right to her trust, the right to be the person she calls when she's feeling down, because that person is not me. The person is her friend or her husband, people who were there when it mattered, and I was there when it was convenient, according to the schedule. Do you know what the worst thing about old age is? Not the pain, not the sickness, not the frailty. The worst thing is the realization that you have become unnecessary to anyone, that life goes on without you and no one even notices. At work, they forgot about me a month after I retired. A month. 38 years of dedication. Thousands of hours of overtime. I thought I was important. That I was irreplaceable. 3 people from the company might come to my funeral out of politeness, and they won't remember a single one of my accomplishments. Because accomplishments don't create bonds. Moments create bonds. And I had no moments. I only had tasks. My wife was the only witness to my youth. The only person who remembered me at 25. Remembered how I laughed. Remembered who I was before I became this machine of discipline. And when she died, that man died too. Because without a witness, the past ceases to exist. It becomes just a story you tell yourself. But no one can confirm that it was true, that you actually lived, that you were alive. Listen to me carefully. Right now, you are sitting and watching this video, and thoughts are swirling in your head. Yes, that's sad, but my situation is different. I need to finish this project. I'll rest when I get a promotion. The kids are small, no time for romance. My parents will understand that I'm busy. My friends aren't going anywhere. I know these thoughts, because I thought the exact same way. 77 years ago, I was you. And I told myself the same things. You think you have time, that tomorrow will come, that next month, next year, after this deadline, after this loan, after this renovation, that's when you'll finally start living. But you know what? The finish line is constantly moving further away. Because you yourself are moving it. Every time you say later, every time you choose important over valuable, every time you put off a call, a meeting, a hug, you move that line another step away. And one day you'll look back and realize you ran your whole life. And no one was running behind you, because people don't wait forever. Close this tab. Right now, get up from your desk, go to the person you love and hug them, just because, for no reason. Call your parents, not to wish them happy holidays, not to ask about their health, but just to say, I remember you teaching me to ride a bike. I remember your voice when you sang to me before bed. Tell them they were important, while they can still hear it. Buy the ticket for that trip you've been putting off for 5 years. Skip one meeting and go to your child's school play. Take an unplanned day off and spend it with someone you might soon lose. Not because they will die, but because they will get tired of waiting and leave, quietly, unnoticeably, and you won't even notice until it's too late. I ask you, subscribe to this channel, not for the algorithm, not for views, but because I have little time left, and I want to tell you everything I understood too late. I want at least one person not to make my mistake, for at least one person not to end up in an empty house at 77 with a box of unfulfilled dreams and the realization that they lived correctly, but didn't live at all. Write in the comments the name of the person you will call or hug today. Give me your word. Not to yourself, to me, because when you give your word to a dying old man, it's harder to break. I want to believe that my pain is not in vain, that it will save at least one family from the emptiness I am living out my days in. Don't wait 50 years to open the box of tickets, because unlike me, you still have time. But it's running out right now. With every second you put off that call, with every time you say later, with every time you do everything right, but forget to live, go right now, before it's too late.